Here's the thing. Alright. Some of you said you would do the exact same thing that Takumi did and just walk right by. I'd say nowadays that's more appropriate, considering, you know, like it's for your own safety. But like back in my day, if someone, I feel like it's just common courtesy. If someone literally fucking falls down right next to you, or falls down the fucking stairs right next to you, you don't just fucking, okay, see you later. Like, the idea of that is funny, but it's also really fucked up. That's why it's funny. But like, especially if they like fall down the stairs, and you're like at the bottom where they fall, like they land, and then you're just like, huh, I could help you, but see ya, and then you. Oh, the sound of the bell told me that all classes were done for the day. The second it went off, I packed my things, got up from my desk, and left the classroom. Okay, bye. I couldn't stand the subtle distance I felt between me and Remy for a second longer. So I wanted to get out of the classroom ASAP. Besides, I also had to stop by Manga Darake today. In the end, I hadn't been able to say a single word to Remy. No, we didn't. I'd had several chances to talk to her, but just like this morning, I'd kept my mouth locked shut the entire time. I might have screwed up by doing that. It would make it even more difficult to talk to her the next time I saw her. Well, we also just don't talk in general, so it's even harder for us. I was sinking deeper and deeper into the thick swamp that was trying to figure out how the hell to act around Remy. Well, do what she does. Oh.
Oni!
I almost was like, fuck. But really, it's fine. Just as I was about to leave the school building, I was hit with the voice of a certain irritating person. Nanami came up, running up to me, holding the trash can in her hand. What are you doing with that? She must have been in the middle of taking it out. Unfortunately for me, the bitch spot me. I tried to ignore her and speed my way out of here, but just like usual, Nanami refused to let that happen. What? What? Oh, the hem of my uniform was pulled tightly from behind.
妹見て逃げるなって何度言えばわかるの?
Oh, you're gonna have to keep saying it.
なんだよ。
なんだよじゃないよ。お兄が逃げるからナナもつい追いかけちゃうんじゃん。相変わらず家に電話かけてこないし、まあナナはもう諦めたけど、どうせお兄が真面目に連絡入れてくるとは思えないもんね。というわけで、これからも定期的にナナがお兄の部屋に様子見に行くから。感謝してよね。
Don't start having your weird delusions where like shit actually starts happening and that's all, and then something will happen to someone that actually cares about us. Hell, even though that it never happened, I at least deserve some form of compensation for putting up with her. Yeah, it's so hard. It's so difficult. I thought about that kind of thing daily. Oh, that was it! This was my chance to put my plan from earlier into action. If I was lucky, it might even work as a modest form of revenge. I checked my surroundings, then I started walking toward the courtyard, signaling for Nanami to follow me.
何?
What? This is weird. He's never signaled me to follow him anywhere.
ちょっと来てくれ。
なんで？なんかあるの？
She's so unbelievably annoying. Was she even... was she incapable of following me or something? What a fucking idiot. Wow. Jeez.
ナナミに大事な頼みがある。
え？頼み？お兄が？なのに？
Now why should she do anything for you? Nanami's eyes went wide.
珍しいじゃん。お兄が頼み事なんて。
I know.
とにかく黙ってついてこいって。
あ、ちょっと待ってよ。
God. There weren't many people in the courtyard. During lunchtime, the place was always crowded with students eating lunch, but the only people who'd bother coming here after school were from the gardening club or whatever. I don't even care.
で、頼みって？
Why is she looking like that? Nanami lowered the trash can she was carrying around, then gave a big grin as she puffed out her chest.
あ、条件はマクで汚りね。その条件飲んでくれるんなら、本当は嫌だけど、お兄の頼み聞いてあげる。
Even though I don't wanna. Oh, the McDonald's though. Oh, God, every little goddamn thing she did pissed me off. I couldn't believe she actually wanted me to pay her back for this. God, didn't help that I'd already treated her to McDonald's before too. Forget it. Look, I guess that's just her payment.
わかった。おごる。
え、本当？今日のお兄いつもと違うね。
Yes, different. Well, yeah, because I was lying. Saws for being a liar. That means sorry. He just lol. And with that, I handed Nanami my cell phone. I then asked her to call the prank caller, whose number was stored in my call history. God, I hate it. Yeah, let me just throw my sister under the bus.
着歴の番号にかける？相手は誰？
I feel like this is very dangerous.
ネットの知り合い。
You don't know nobody. Well, online, yeah, but Nanami was tilting her head with a suspicious expression on her face, so I quickly told a lie that would seem plausible to her.
どうして7がかけるの？
かければわかる。
I don't think she
な
will.
んか企んでない？
Oh my God, STFU! All you have to do is shut up and do what I say. If you can't do that, then just go home. I have no use for you.
じゃあもうお前には頼まない。
You have a use for her. You're having her do this for McDonald's. I went to snatch back the cell phone, but Nanami pulled her hand back, evading me.
あ、わかったってかけるよ。かければいいんでしょ？ほんとわがままなお兄だな。
Oh yeah, you should talk. Choking back my anger, I watched with bated breath as Nanami dialed the number in question. Nanami, blissfully unaware, put the cell phone to her ear and waited for them to answer. What if something actually... How bad would you feel if something actually happened to her, though? You know? I noticed that on the hand she was holding the cell phone with, she was wearing a yellow bangle. Yeah, see? That was the one I'd given her, wasn't it? And again, it was more something she just decided to appropriate rather than me actually giving it to her. You didn't want it. Still, we're gonna need that. She even wore it when she went to school. Did she really like it that much? Even though it was just some cheap-ass bangle I got for free? Hey, it was part of the deal. Nami really did have no taste at all. Not that I could speak for anyone else, though. This didn't matter at all right now. And I was like, who gives a shit? Anyway, who's gonna answer the phone? Would it be some scary DQN piece of garbage? Best case scenario would just be a prank and had nothing to do with Shogun or Yua.
あ、もしもし？
Oh no. Someone must have picked up. So Nanami called out as she covered the receiver with her hand, only to raise her eyebrows soon after. She then thrust the phone back in my direction.
鬼
What'd I do? Who is it? Why?
なんだ
なんだじゃないよ。現在使われてませんって言ってるよ。
Oh, that's even scarier.
え
I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I snatched the phone from Nanami and put it to my ear, and what I heard was...
おかけになった電話番号は現在使われておりません。
Yeah.
番号をご確認の上、もう一度おかけ直しください。
Nope. Nope. She was right. I guess that really meant it really had been a prank. Yeah, really, it's a prank, all right. It was a prank where you called a bunch of random numbers simultaneously over a couple days, and when the prank was over, both the number and phone were destroyed or something like that. That is a shitty prank. As in, like, what does that do for you? Either way, it was a pretty large-scale prank. But, it didn't matter to me any other way. I knew now that the mysterious call had been nothing more than a prank, and nothing else mattered anymore. Uh-huh.
ねえ、一体何なの？
Dude.
もうお前用なし
You get that tone from that phone number, and then later it's disconnected? Nope. I don't know. I'm really unsettled now. I don't know anymore. Leaving the Nami standing there, I started to walk off. You son of a bitch! You gotta get her McDonald's! But it didn't take long for her to chase after me.
どういうことか説明してよ。
Bro, he should get me McDonald's for dealing with his bullshit all the time. Just shut up already.
お前掃除中だろ
Oops, not anymore.
ゴミ箱置きっぱなしだぞ
Someone else will get it.
ね、でも説明聞いてないもん。
僕は帰る
It doesn't even like say no lie, I'm just leaving that open. Without dealing with Nanami, I walked quickly to the school gate with her right on my tail.
鬼、じゃあマクディおごる約束だからね。ちゃんと覚えといてよ。
I will forget
知るか
immediately.
ちょっと嘘ついたの？
まだ
He says maybe. All he does is lie. Nanami stopped dead in her tracks, looking pretty upset. But I kept right on moving.
鬼のバカ！
Yeah, you tell him. She yelled out in a voice loud enough to echo throughout the entire area. I fed up with her. I went to turn around and saw her glaring at me with her hands on her hips.
鬼なんて携帯の電磁波の影響で脳みそスカスカにされて死んじゃえ！
Yeah, you tell him. I'm on her side. I'm always will be. Shit, thanks to Nanami screeching, more eyes are looking our way. Oh no. Even though I made it a point to stand out as little as possible at school. My sister was the most obnoxious shithead of all time. You deserve it, okay? Not giving a damn about what Nanami had just said, I ran off toward the school gate. It was best to retreat in times like these. Nanami shit just like rather than her hands on her hip just shakes her fist forward. Nami's voice could still be heard even after I passed through the school gate, making me feel completely and utterly drained. You treat her so bad. You treat her so bad. You treat everyone bad. Gashi Matasema was one of my favorite artists. They were ultra famous, and their fans would always form long lines at every one of their events. I'd heard that the new Blood Tune Doshinji that'd come out this summer had sold out in no time flat. I'd wanted to go too, but all the events where it was being sold at had been way too crowded, to the point where it would have been too much for me. Because of that, I found myself tearfully giving up. It'd been naive of me to think that manga Darake would be safe just because they'd had consignment sales. There had indeed been some consignment sales, but they'd been annihilated in practically an instant. The scalpers. On various online auctions, the premium price was set at tens of thousands of yen. All scalpers should die in a fire. True! Regardless, with that in mind, I thought that it was probably impossible to get my hands on it. However, just yesterday, while I'd been surfing at Channel, I just so happened to see that the new issue had been recently restocked at Manga Darake. Ooh, let's go. Well, we are. Which is why I'd headed for it immediately.
神様、奇跡を起こしたまえ。
Don't grant him any miracles. Ooh. Let me just slink on in here. I prayed to the heavens in front of the store, and then I stormed inside. I screamed? Just screaming at the fucking the manga Doshinjis. I scanned the Doshinji section with my eyes as wide as dinner plates. I went back and forth down the aisle, searching over and over to make sure I didn't miss anything. But, aw, he couldn't find it. Pig emoji, QQ, sad. No, was it already sold out? Ask the person at the counter. You fool. I casually observed the cashier. Yeah, it was a girl. She wasn't very cute, but she did seem friendly. Oh my god. He's like, the less cute they are, the easier it is for me to talk to them. You bastard. I never even once used the hyper-advanced technique known as asking the clerk about whether or not they had a certain item in stock. Why? The reason, of course, was that I didn't have the courage to do so. Well, I mean, I knew why for you, but I mean, just... Not only that, but the title of the Higashi Matsusema's new book was Saraton Cosplayer Gone Wild. So yeah, asking about it was completely and utterly impossible. I'm going to tell your ass right now, being that I once was a cashier, cashiers don't give a fuck what you buy, okay? They don't care what you ask, or like they ain't gonna shame you. They don't give a fuck. They just want to do their job and go home. All right? So just go up and ask. No one cares. Excuse me, miss, but do you have a copy of Higashi Matsusema's Saraton Cosplayer Gone Wild? Dude, I would ask that with pride. If I asked a female clerk something like that, I'd no doubt be labeled as a pervert, and I knew that for a fact. Thank you very much. Again, they don't give a shit. In the end, I simply gave up on asking the clerk anything and exited the store dejectedly. Why are we we need to work on this. We need to work on our, like, everything. I was gonna say something specific, but we're Takumi. Like, or maybe I should go to At Cafe. Flipping between the two as I walked, a sword I had seen before flashed by my edge of my vision. Uh-oh. It was a sword with a distinctive two-pronged blade. The one that girl B, the girl who'd called herself Senna, had been carrying around the city. In the crowded center guy, the tip of the sword jutted above the heads of people walking down the street. Oh boy. Well, I will take refuge. As it got closer to me, I hurriedly took refuge in a nearby arcade. When I peered out of the shadows, it didn't take long for Senna herself to appear, the sword resting on her shoulder. Let me just stay in here. I will be fine. Wearing an expression that was just as terrifying as ever, she walked quickly toward the station. Doesn't it look like weird? Like if you're like holding your sword like that, but like nobody can see the sword except certain people, so you just kind of look like your arm is up holding something, but you're not holding anything. It'd be kind of weird. She didn't seem to have noticed me, but even then, after having experienced the humiliation play that was lugging around a sword just like hers, the bold way that Senna walked around without a care in the world impressed me. Was she not embarrassed to hold a huge sword like that? I mean, she had to have been questioned by a police officer at least once. No way she hadn't. Nope. Maybe not for that. As I pondered that, Senna's figure got farther and farther away. No, come back, Senna. I like when you're on screen. Where do they sell badass dye swords like the one she has, I wondered. Yeah, I got a shitty one. The one I'd gotten a hold of didn't glow, nor did it have a badass shape, so I wasn't exactly satisfied with it. I bet you, like, our dye sword is like the most powerful dye sword ever in existence or some bullshit. But it just looks like shit. In comparison to the sword Senna was carrying, mine was far less impressive in terms of design. The entire reason behind me getting a dye sword was to use it as a protective charm. Back at the Scramble Crossing, I'd been trembling in fear and wished for something I could rely on. After Remy had shown up, I'd become slightly more I almost said unstable. More stable, but the situation surrounding me was not getting any better. I still had a lot of enemies, such as Shogun. Let's not talk about Shogun. There's a lot of weirdness going on there. Yua, etc. That was the reason why I wanted to get my hands on a dye sword that looked way stronger than the one I actually had. Of course, there was also the collector spirit found in every otaku. Oh, we all know that. As if drawn to Senna's sword, I'd been staggering over towards Scramble Crossing without realizing it. Oh, God. Even he says it. Oh, God. I bit my lip. I didn't want to be out in front of the station. I would reluctantly go to Center Guy or school or whatever because I had things I had to do there. But if I could help it, I preferred not going anywhere near them. Having a crowd of total strangers standing around me made me feel as if any escape route had been stolen away. And just the illusion of that made it hard to breathe. Unsurprisingly, the area in front of the station was infested with people. Damn infested Terrans. I was starting to get feel more and more sick, so I opted to look down at the ground to try to hold back the nausea. See, I don't like crowds, but I'm not like that bad, where you get, you know, like that. Because of that, the next time I looked up, I realized I'd lost sight of the conspicuous sword. Looked like she'd been walking toward the Hachiko statue, but... oh no, now I'm surrounded. Right then, the light above Scramble Crossing turned green. A sea of people rushed into the intersection from various directions. It became pretty chaotic. Can I just say that I appreciate whenever, like, backgrounds and whatnot, or whatever whatever you're looking at on the screen at the time has, like, a bunch of people in there, just to show how packed it is, because it's always so weird whenever the game is like, and it was so packed, as there's nobody in the background. A whole host of people walking every which way, and they did it all without even so much as bumping into each other. When I saw something like that, I realized how unrealistic the empty Scramble Crossing I'd seen in my delusion the other day really was. Yeah, delusion. There probably wasn't even a single second in the entire year where there were no people in this place. What was I even trying to accomplish by chasing after Senna in the first place? I hadn't even been able to ask the friendly Manga Dorake employee whether they'd had something in stock. So how exactly was I supposed to talk with someone who looked unfriendly and scary looking like Senna? She's not... that okay, she is very scary. Besides, she might have been my enemy. She would have killed you already. I didn't know what she'd do if I carelessly followed her around without any form of protection. What was wrong with me? I should just go home. Really is like he's just drawn to the sword in a way. Finally decided on that, but right when I was about to turn around, it's over. Oh, what the shit? Oh, I don't like this. I noticed a white chain lying down on the street. I couldn't see the end of it because it was concealed by legs of various pedestrians, but it seemed to be stretching from where I was standing all the way to the other side of Scramble Crossing. I don't like it. What the hell? It was a ridiculously long chain Was it for construction or something? But there was no evidence of construction going on anywhere. I couldn't believe they just left a chain lying around like this. Was this location they were shooting at for some movie or TV show? No, they wouldn't be shooting at a time as crowded as this. Maybe they would for like other like just shots, but okay, then did someone throw it away? A chain this long? It'd already be hard enough to just bring it this far out here. Oh God. Regardless, it was definitely going to get in the way of people and cars. Tilting my head in confusion, I examined my surroundings to see how people around me were reacting to it. I thought it would be dangerous if somebody caught their leg on it, but not a single person was paying attention to it. Can they not see it? Or is it just like, whatever? I rubbed my eyes and tried looking at it one more time, thinking that it might be an optical illusion or something, but the chain was still there. Takumi, we might as well just follow it to our death. Come on. I didn't have the courage to touch it, though. It creeped me out too much. It wasn't a cheap-looking plastic one. It was an extremely sturdy-looking iron chain. How long had this thing been left sitting here? I don't like it. Oh, don't. I was dreading the looking up at it. If these were normal circumstances, I'd think it was some kind of a trap. After which, I would have run away in fear, suspecting that something terrifying might have been waiting for me. But now, for some reason, I couldn't help but wonder where the chain led. We are just a strange man. My mind was overtaken by a compulsive obsession that told me I had to follow this chain. I don't want to. I crossed the scramble crossing before the light turned red, bumping into several pedestrians as I did. At the end of the continuous chain was an old dark green train car that was sitting next to the Hachiko statue. The wheels had been removed, so it was closer to a monument or an exhibit rather than an actual functional train car. You were supposed to be able to enter it freely, too. The white chain was extending from the open door to the inside of the train. Oh, God. There were tons of people parked in front of Hachiko, but none of them were paying any attention to the chain. They didn't show any signs that they were even aware of it. See, that wouldn't really be too weird to me, though. What would be weird is us following the chain, because, like, I don't know, maybe it's just me walking around in real life, but if I see a chain on the ground, I'm not gonna, like, I'm not gonna think about it. I'm just walking. You know? The most I'll think about it is to be like, ooh, not gonna trip over that, you know? As well as that, there were no signs of any people on the train at all. Uh-oh. With a gulp, I appeared inside the train car. Okay, don't get... Oh, God damn it. You fool. You've fallen right into my trap. In that moment, I realized it was a trap. Luckily for me, I only peered inside. I didn't actually, I couldn't believe it myself, which was why I hadn't suspected it at all before. The car appeared to be empty, but there was the figure of a single person inside. I like how she's still eating. Aoi Senna was sitting cross-legged on the burgundy train seat. Her sharp gaze was fixed on me firmly. For some reason, she was holding a light blue popsicle in her hand. That was a Crunchy Coon, right? Forget it. I couldn't care less about Crunchy Coons right now. Dude, I'd be thinking about that. More importantly, the gigantic dye sword she'd been carrying was mysteriously nowhere to be found. Is it the chain? Can it, like, change its form at will? Is that why no one else is paying attention to it, but we can see it because we know we can see the dye swords? I wonder where she had even managed to put the thing with how huge it was and all. And that's gonna... Oh, no. Do I do a bad or a good one? I haven't done a bad one in a little bit. But it's Senna. Last time with Senna, I had a really good one. Oh, what the hell. I gotta. In place of the sword was a white chain coiling around one of her legs, Which reminded me that back when we first met at I'd first met her and sent her guy, she had said something about finding her in a train car in front of the station. This must have been what she'd meant. Well, yeah, but not like lead me here. Shit. Was she the one who put this chain here? Could she really have been lugging around such a long chain? It looked like it weighed over 10 kilograms. And not only that, but it had to have been over 50 meters long. I had no idea what was up with this girl. She was entirely unknown to me. She wasn't normal. Could she be Shogun? No, you saw Shogun. You stupid. Feeling scary now. Or scary? Oh, I ain't feeling scary. I'm scared. Feeling scared now, I moved to run away without saying anything. Only for a sharp voice to strike me right then.
Hide.
Oh, is the train car door gonna shut right behind me and do the... Oh, it's not doing the wibbly wobbly or anything. So I'm just I'm accepting this. I automatically stopped dead in my tracks. The thoughts ran through my head frantically. If I ran away, what would she do? Would she swing her die sword at me while she chased me? The chain's already wrapped around our legs, so we can't actually leave. When I tried to envision it happening, it freaked me out way too much, so I hurriedly shook the delusion out of my head. Conversely, what if I were to just, walk straight in instead? She would get a much better impression of me, and maybe she wouldn't be so violent. Yeah, see? Look at this positivity. This is what I'm looking for. Maybe she'd even be good enough mood that she'd be interested in selling her die sword to me. Okay, you're too optimistic now. Go back. Bring it down a notch. I didn't think she'd give it up that easily, but maybe I could at least get her to tell me where she bought it from. On top of that, she seemed to have been waiting for me. In other words, that meant she'd taken some form of interest in me. She looked scary, but as was often the case with tsundere types, she might have been actually pretty nice in reality. That could just be wishful thinking, though. That's what we need right now. Then again, it wasn't like I was gonna be culled just because I went inside. Surely that was true. The moment we step inside, that door's closing, and we're locked in here. We're never escaping. We were right in the middle of Shibuya, after all, right in front of the Hachiko statue. There were tons of people surrounding us. Killing me in public, in front of all of them? That would have been suicide. I took a single deep breath, gathered my resolve, and then stepped into the train. If I chose the other one, would I have just ran away? I suddenly realized the bundle of chain that had been at Senna's feet just a moment ago had disappeared without a trace. Thought she'd moved it somewhere, but there had been no sound to indicate that, and she was still sitting in the same seat that she'd been sitting on this entire time. Even if she had moved it, where the hell did she move it to? I didn't see it anywhere on the train. Senna, completely unconcerned with how lost I was, asked me something unintelligible yet again. As I shook my head left to right in confusion, Senna's expression became increasingly stern. She then eventually looked away from me, let out a small sigh, then took a bite of her popsicle. She's angrily eating her popsicle. Freed from her sharp gaze, I nearly sank down to the floor once again. Talk about looks that could kill. I would have sat down on one of the seats if I could have, but then when I realized that she might have said something to me if I did, I couldn't bring myself to. Just be like, can I have a seat? They even make it so the popsicle looks like it's getting eaten. Is that what you call it?
だから、エラーって何?
鎖だ。白い鎖。
If that's what she meant, then yeah, I'd seen it. I'd followed that weird thing all the way here after all. an error, like something that shouldn't be in this world, but it is, that you could just do?
でもどこにもない。消えたよ。
消した。私の妄想だからな。
Oh. We are the same, you and I. Delusion? What was she talking about?
じゃあ剣は。
お前も持っているだろう。
Well, it's shit, but... Excuse me? I don't have one. How could I? This wasn't going well. I could barely get a word out.
それより、お前は何者なんだ？見えているみたいだけど。
は
Yeah, I can see all right. I don't wanna though. Sent a glance at me, then jerked her chin toward the window.
この窓の外に何が見える？
I see people. Lots of people. Yeah. It felt like there were even more people than before. Felt like I was gonna get a headache just from looking at them. There were people with their heads glued to their cell phones, people smiling over phone calls, standing around staring at the stream of people. Practically everything I saw out the window were people standing around waiting for other people. I mean, if there were so many people, why hadn't someone come to the train since I'd gotten on? I
完
wonder.
璧な世界がそこにあると思うか？
No.
あるはずがない。エラーは確かに存在する。
See, yeah, exactly.
すべてのものは人も含めて電気仕掛けだからな。
Oh, God. What kind of Chuuni plotline was that? Jokes aside, I also thought about similar things pretty often. And I wasn't trying to say that Chuuni plotlines were bad or anything. After all, the world was overflowing with books, movies, and anime that were nothing but Chuuni insanity. Why was it that a writer or movie director or whatever the hell else could come up with Chuuni plotlines like that, and it was all well and good, but when amateurs like me did it, everyone made fun of us? Yeah, that's bullshit. You got a point. The world's greats had all been Chuuni boo-boo-boo-boos. I just like saying Chuuni. Just think about it. The Wright brothers had genuinely thought they could fly through the sky 100 years ago. Yeah, well, look. Napoleon had boasted, the word impossible is not in my dictionary. That was why Chuunis weren't something to be mocked. It was the path that all the world's greats had taken. Well, then they're not Chuunis anymore because it's actually real. But my question was, why had this girl suddenly started spouting all this Chuuni shit at me?
何を見ているかじゃない。何を見せられているか。
Oh, I don't like how she said that.
人は体の外からの情報を五感によって得ているけど、その受け取る情報のおよそ 80% は視覚から入ってくるんだ。そして視覚から得られた映像はパルス信号となって視神経を通り脳に送られる。
Yeah, I know how sight works. Just like a telephone, I thought to myself absentmindedly. A telephone converted your voice into electric signals and then sent that information to a distant
電
location.
話か。似ていると言えなくもない。
It's why your voice sounds different on the phone than, you know, in real life. Like, at least a little bit. So did you just read our mind? Had she just read my mind? No, there's no way. Had I been mumbling to myself without realizing it again?
VR 技術を知っているか？
Oh yeah, that's virtual reality? Of course, I didn't actually answer her aloud.
ビジュアルリビルディング。
Well, okay, never mind. I'd never heard of that.
アメリカの精神生理学分野で研究が行われている技術だ。
Of course, the Americans.
生まれながらに目が不自由な人でも目の前にある景色がちゃんと見えるようになる。ビデオカメラのような映像機器を介してな。
Okay.
どうやってという顔をしているな。だが仕組みとしては単純な話だ。ビデオカメラが映した映像も脳を流れる神経パルスもどちらも突き詰めれば電気による信号なんだぞ。 要は神経パルスにコンバートできる技術さえあればいい。すでに実際にテストは成功している。ある研究チームが特許を取得済みだ。
He's just like, well, it was patented? Seriously? I thought that it was just a fairly hardcore delusion with an impressive amount of depth and detail behind it. But claiming there was a full-on patent was taking it way too far.
その特許から読み取れることがある。
Senna, who'd been looking out the window the whole time, turned to face me. She slowly crossed her legs. She was already doing that.
ある意図的な情報を神経パルスへコンバートすることが可能なら、人の五感すべて、さらには人の意志そのものもコントロールできるんじゃないか。
Yes. I mean, if you think about it, even though it was right in front of Shibuya Station, it was strangely quiet on the train. Felt like it had been deprived of sound itself. It was obviously an illusion, but I couldn't help but remember the delusion I'd had several days ago of the deserted Shibuya. Yep, sure. As I thought about it, I couldn't take my eyes off the crowd moving outside the window.
さっき言ったように、人は電気仕掛けだ。脳だけじゃなく、全身に張り巡らされている神経にも電気が通っている。つまり、肉体的な動きまでも操れるということになるんだ。理論的にはな。
This girl. I was taken aback. This girl was even more delusional than both me and Yua combined. I don't know, man. She sounds like she's the most sane one. What she was saying sounded logical, but it was clearly a total pipe dream.
事実、特許を取得した研究チームもその方向へと研究内容をシフトしている。あまりに危険すぎる内容だったから、アメリカ大統領が歯止めをかけようとして行政命令を出したくらいだ。
Oh God. How much of what she was saying was actually true?
いかなる機関であろうと、政府との事前合意なしに人体の機密の研究を行うことを禁じる。それを支援することも同様である。とな。
The common rule, huh? Hold up. Is that what it is? What I think it is? Yeah. Okay. It is what it is. Senna looked downward and clasped her hands, resting on her knees tightly.
だが世の中、腐った連中ばかりだ。
True.
倫理を無視して、自分の利益のためだけに他者を平気で犠牲にするような連中がな。
Yeah, most humans.
ヘドが出る。
Me too. After she finished voicing her disgust, she stuck the last chunk of the nearly melted Crunchgoon in her mouth, then suddenly stood up. I reflexively started to shrink back, only to run into the wall behind
無
me.
知は罪だ。知らない方が幸せなこともあるという人間もいるが、そんなのはただの甘えだ。
Well, it's bliss because, like, you don't have to pay attention to anything, so you're just, and...
世界を疑え。仕組みを知れ。この世界は完璧じゃない。
Yeah. She was coming toward me. Help! Woo-woo. Thinking she might hit me, I tried to shield my face with my arm, but in the end, she slipped right past me without doing anything.
お前の見ている景色は本物か？
What is real and what isn't anymore? Without looking at me, she murmured that as we passed each other, and then she promptly exited the train by herself. She just like planted the seed in my mind. I stared out the window at Senna as she walked away. Without looking back at me even once, she quickly disappeared into the sea of people. In the end, I had absolutely no clue as to what she'd been trying to tell me. The only thing I took from it was that Senna despised the world. Typical Chuuni. From my point of view, though, it sucked ass to have her shoot poisonous Denpa bullshit at me without even letting me get a word in. You weren't gonna get a word in anyway, you don't fucking talk! Her tone of voice had made me feel like I was being lectured. The way she talked was often a moe characteristic when it came to 2D, but in reality it only served to make her feel more like a total DQN. But the fact that she hadn't attacked me was a relief. A surprise, considering that for some reason she always gave off the aura that she was just raring to slap anyone and everyone. I wanted to take a breather after that, so I sat down on the seat where Senna had been sitting before. Immediately following that, a DQN-looking couple suddenly came into the car. Okay, so now we're in this reality. After that came a trio of people that were obviously DQN Gyarus, then an older aged man, then a young businessman wearing a suit. The train car had been a claustrophobic mess in the blink of an eye. Before Senna had left, no one had even tried to enter the car, so where the hell had all they come from? The voices of the DQN couple and the Gyarus were way too loud, so I quickly got the hell out of there while telling them to all go to hell in my head. It's like, is it us? No, we're the ones that can see. We can see everything, though. We see errors and swords, and does the swords errors itself too? It's not us being manipulated to see what they want us to see. It's them. They're the ones that are making that the normal people see what they see, but they're not seeing it. We're the ones seeing the truth before everything, because we can actually see. Ah!